this is Uni from Universe and welcome back to my channel. So, as for the actual subject of today, I wanted to talk to you about my personal favorite brands that are based or founded in New York. And if I just went out to Soho, I could have just shown you guys on the street what this brand is and where their flagship is and go into their stores and just show you around. And I wish I could do that. But since I have done that in the past, I have some photos and sometimes video footages of these brands. And so I thought of just talking it out with you guys and sharing why they're my favorite brands. And also some of them include very up and coming new brands. And so you can also shop or at least browse through them at universe.com. So let's get to it.
Before I jump into today's video, there is the first part of the New York-based and founded brands. So if you'd like to check that out first, don't forget to check in the link below. And let's get to it.
Now, the third brand is another OG and it is OC, aka Opening Ceremony. So I learned about this like OC abbreviation since I got to New York as well. Before I just only knew it as Opening Ceremony, but it is a brand that was born in New York by Carol Lim and Umberto Leon, and they were both the co-founders and who eventually became creative directors for Kenzo for a number of years. And so when Opening Ceremony opened up, it was definitely a huge cult. I think a lot of people wanted to get anything that was branded as Opening Ceremony, even if it was just like a beanie or like a shopper's bag. They always want to have one around. And even now, like a lot of cool kids, like they always want to have at least one piece of merchandising that has Opening Ceremony on it, and it will like finish, like, you know, complete their wardrobe. But unfortunately, Opening Ceremony has gone through many phases in their business, and because, you know, people who love Opening Ceremony aren't really the type of people who can afford like designer clothes when their store is merchandising also from like the latest like French ready-to-wear brands, Jacquemus, like you can't afford them every single season. And so obviously the brand has gone down a lot down the slope and have gone through financial difficulties, and but they're still here. So the brand still has their flagship in Soho. You can definitely go and check them out. They also have like collaborations with fans and also tons of other collaborations. They are the pioneer. And so I included OC because once you're in New York, you'll definitely spot them everywhere. So that's my third brand. Now I want to move on to more like fashion focused brands. So my fourth brand, and not the newest brand though, would be Monsieur Gabriel. So I actually found out about this brand while I was living in Jakarta, and it's funny because all my friends, because I worked in fashion industry, people who are, you know, my friends at the office, they would always, you know, wear something, and that's a way of exchanging the newest information. And it was funny that all my friends who had another friend coming back from New York, they would all buy this bucket bag, and that was Monsieur Gabriel, and that's how hot it was. Like it was hot in New York, and so everyone in Jakarta would buy off of somebody who was traveling here. And obviously that bucket bag was such a big hit of that brand. I think in medium size and different colors, it was definitely the biggest hit for that brand. So eventually the brand grew into more line of different bags, and then eventually even shoes because they have leather, and so they could play with leather. And then eventually their beautiful color palette, which is very minimal but very luxurious, led on to them launching the ready-to-wear. And so there is a beautiful pinky flagship. It's not a showroom, it's a store. It's a big store with one floor, and it is just so minimal but so perfect, with super bold like orchids here and there, just perfect placement, and it's very minimal. and it's also in Soho. And so if once the quarantine is over, hopefully before summer, because they serve like homemade lemonade or something in summer, I hope you guys can go there. I fortunately had some pictures that I took there, because every time I walk in there, I am so amazed by their aesthetic. And so Mansour Gabriel is my 4th favorite brand from New York. Fifth brand will be Danielle Guizio. I've actually never heard anybody say that brand out loud, so I don't know where their stress is. But the brand that is not DNG as in Dolce & Gabbana, but DG as in Danielle Guizio is the brand I'm talking about. It's the brand that launched super hit items that you probably saw on Instagram, like Bella Hadid once wore a gray jersey set of like cropped hoodie and like a mini skirt with just sneakers on the street, and it was a paparazzi shot, but that was from Danielle Guizio. Jennie from Blackpink, she wore this black see-through, almost like cocktail dress length. She wore it for a concert, and it was Danielle Guizio. And it's definitely one of those hip like brands that if you are a fashionista, like you want to know what this brand is. Kendall Jenner also wore one of their slit cut, like side opened vinyl leather skirt for Met Gala after party. And when I saw that picture of her like getting off of the party bus for the after party in that like skirt with like a sheer yellow organza top, that was like that. I just love that look, and that was from Danielle Guizio. So it's that brand that you see here and there, and it's Danielle Guizio. And so Danielle is, I believe, from New Jersey, and she actually built her fandom through social media before she launched her brand. And I read that she was very ill with some kind of cancer, and she thought that once she gets over this cancer, she could do anything in her life if she has the will. And so she launched her fashion brand because she was always a crafty person with clothes, and voila, like her social media presence really led to the brand success as well. And she is definitely going through like the proper path of having her showroom and really just trying to merchandise her products in the right way. And her design is unique, and it's very much what we want to wear as, you know, like sort of hip young girls, but not super, you know, like fancy dress, but it's like kind of in a toned down manner, but in a sexy way. And so I love Danielle Guizio. I've never have tried her designs yet, but you can shop it on universe.com. So here's the link. Okay, the 6th brand is called Kite, and Kite has been the brand that I've actually been featuring on universe.com since day one, because I was super excited that it was part of my affiliate network that I could feature, and second of all, it was that brand that Katie Holmes wore with like a bra, knit bra, like in a beige tone, and then she had a matching cardigan on top, and she had like the cardigan sliding off her shoulder one side that showed the knit bra inside, and that was Kite. And I think that's the moment when that paparazzi picture just, you know, spread out all across, and people suddenly started to talk about Kite. Interestingly, Kite was built on a concept that they reimagined American sportswear. I do not know what that sportswear concept is, but in hearing that, I'm a little amazed, because I think their design is more like almost like couture sometimes. Their dress is very sort of perfectly laid out in like an A shape, with perfect tools at the bottom, and also price-wise, it's not, you know, the most affordable ready to wear, but it is beautiful. They are monotone, and they are very well tailored, in my opinion. There are definitely some pieces that you can definitely wear less, you know, dressed up on a daily basis, and so I formulated a mixture of bulky, nice blouses with some super comfy t-shirts to that knit bra that I just talked about, and there are many colors of them, and so you can shop them on universe.com. I'm going to put a link below. Seventh brand, the lucky seventh, is peter.do. Peter.do is also a brand that I started to recognize by actually looking at Instagram posts of some of the influencers that I follow, and a lot of them were wearing very structured jackets that had cut open shoulder, slit here, and that had like a rounding ribbon at the back, sometimes with a cut open back, and so it was a very structured but deformed clothing in a very like tailored form. And it's interesting because peter.do actually worked with Phoebe, Philo, and also Derek Lem, right? And so I assume that he probably got some influence from them, but definitely it's a next step. When you look at his tailoring, it's definitely not anything conventional. It's, if not anything, super futuristic in a way, but also very wearable because the colors that he used are very minimal and monotone, and it is beautiful. And so I've curated some pieces that I personally think is beautiful, so you can shop on universe.com. Eighth and last but not least is wardrobe.nyc. I'm not sure if their brand name is just wardrobe or it's wardrobe.nyc, but as you can see in the name, it's definitely a New York based brand, and also it is a luxury brand that is limited in terms of manufacturing quantities, but they try to really define what is a like everyday wear in a luxurious way. And their launching like scheme is very interesting because they don't go like by season, they go by releases. So far they've gone down to from release number 1 to release number 5, and every release has different themes that they put, and so the collection, well, the whole collection will be based out of it. So I can't remember everything off my head. So release 1, for example, was their campaign. Release 2 was sports. Release 3 was street. Release number 4 was denim. And then release 5 was tailored. And so every single release would have a full collection that matches with the release. And then they only also produce that release, and then to a certain quantity, and that's it. And which is a way for them to propose a sustainable fashion manufacturing, while their items are sort of timeless and classical, so that you don't, even if, let's say, the season is over, you can still use their denim pieces with whatever else in your closet, and it will be there always as your like piece. But they are well done so that you can wear them for a long time, which is, I bet, why they call it luxury. And so they can also be found down in the link below. And so there we go. I've talked about 8 different brands today. And I must say that I've, ever since I got to New York, I've also been going to Fashion Week, and I've worked into the fashion industry, and I've met people who are working in the fashion industry, and also, just us who are watching, consuming, looking at the images and seeing how the trend changes. New York fashion has definitely gone through a lot, I think, in terms of having like Calvin Klein, Theory, all these very New York brands sort of going through a rough cycle of trying not to go bankrupt and then being sold to a different company in different countries sometimes, so you lose that identity of a New York based brand. And brands like Alexander Wang, like, they're doing so great in terms of performance, but in terms of a company's financial, you never know where it can go. And New York in specific has had a lot of brands that has suffered in that way. And so when you come to the market and you go around to like meatpacking district like Soho, I think you can kind of sense that some of the stores that they had built so large in the past because they were doing well are now sometimes empty, and you can definitely see like big retailers like Barnes New York, while you know, I was here, I am still here, they went bankrupt. And so a lot of things are happening in New York, and I think it's definitely part of a process of the fashion consumption moving in a different way, which is why I also launched universe.com, because e-commerce is definitely what is the only place that a lot of fashion brands are making profit, and it is going to be probably more in the future, looking at what we have to go through with things that we never even imagined, like this type of virus hitting us hard and we can't even go outside. I think that there are many things that we can think in order to save the fashion industry, but I just thought, as I'm also thinking about this at home, I wanted to curate these items in a way that I could, so that I could show it to you guys, and I hope that you guys like this content and also have found something interesting. And once the quarantine's over, hopefully I might be able to go outside, but we'll see. But if not, don't forget to check out the brands that I've just told you, and I will see you in the next video. So thank you so much for channeling in.